as President Tinubu assures Nigerians.
It's not just about weapons. Your welfare, your care is a top priority for this nation.
Safety on waterways. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy flags off first phase of distribution of 3,500 life jackets in Bayelsa State. And Nigeria strengthens health system to end cases of zero doses and to meet universal health coverage.
Traceable and measurable. So digitization of the immunization program is going to continue.
Welcome to the news at 11 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Degunloye. President Bola Tinubu assures that Nigeria will not bow to pressure from those seeking to destabilize the country, as his administration is taking steps to strengthen security agencies with advanced equipment, superior intelligence and robust logistical support to defeat enemies of the state. This is while addressing armed forces troops on arrival at the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport in Katsina. State House correspondent Musbah Dan-Wahab reports.
President Tinubu in Katsina on a two-day working visit. But his action clearly showed one of the issues that matter to his administration: security. Katsina has been one of the northwest states feeling the disturbances by bandits in Nigeria. And these are the representatives of officers and men of the armed forces and even paramilitary agencies fighting insecurity in the state and beyond. The Commander-in-Chief is here not just to fill the pulse of his men and women, but also to boost their morale.
How is the morale? Are you good to go? Are you motivated?
For the president, the fight against all forms of insecurity goes beyond a territorial fight, but one aiming to save the soul of the country. He says Nigeria as a nation will not give in to the pressure and agenda of the enemies of state, as the country is repositioning itself to return the heat on the enemies and their collaborators.
Fully aware of the challenges you face, the sacrifices you are making. We are taking bold steps to equip you with advanced equipment, necessary technological advancement, superior intelligence, and robust logistical support, not only to defend this nation, but to dominate and defeat every adversary.
He appreciated these men and women and their likes across the country for their efforts and sacrifices in safeguarding the nation, while Nigeria expects the best of their commitment in protecting lives and properties of the citizens. President Tinubu assures the frontline men of his administration's commitment to their welfare.
But it's not just about weapons. Your welfare, your care is a top priority for this nation. We are committed to ensuring your families are safe, your allowances are paid promptly, your health care is guaranteed, and your dignity upheld.
The Commander-in-Chief implored his men to remain focused on this national cause. From Katsina, Musbah Dan-Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu says his administration remains sincerely committed to the various interventions and projects aimed at developing Katsina State and other parts of the northern Nigeria. This was as he inaugurated agricultural and infrastructural projects executed by the Katsina state government.
Once we liberate ourselves from hunger, we will appreciate peace and progress. The remarkable progress you are making in this state.
Now, in line with the renewed hope agenda of the federal government to protecting lives and property, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has flagged off the first phase of distribution of 3,500 life jackets in Bayelsa State, with a charge to boat operators and passengers to always consider safety while on the waterways. Timinepere Ohia reports.
At the banquet hall in Yenagua, government officials, community leaders, and curious locals gathered for the flag-off of the marine safety sensitization and the distribution of life jackets for inland water travels in Bayelsa State. It wasn't just another official event for the riverine communities of Bayelsa. It was a lifeline. Minister of Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, stressed the importance of safety on the waterways and noted that the life jacket is one of the critical steps towards protecting people who travel by water. The initiative, driven by Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy in conjunction with the Bayelsa State government, the minister said, is aimed at educating travelers and boat operators about safety procedures, including the proper use of life jackets, with 42,000 distribution across 12 coastal states and 3,005 in Bayelsa for the first phase. He commended the state government for his commitment to the development of the Agege Deep Sea ports, saying it is a major maritime gateway as it will create jobs and open up new frontiers in logistics, shipbuilding and tourism.
The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is working closely with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that the Agege Deep Sea port becomes a reality in record time.
The Bayelsa State Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is proactively pursuing a lot of ambitious and very vigorous and very self-intended and deliberate endeavors. These include safer and more secure waterways, expansion of our maritime transportation, pursuit of the Agege Deep Sea port, which you alluded to, as a gateway to regional and international.
Most persons cannot afford buying life jackets for themselves, so I know this life jacket, by distributing this life jacket to the coastal waterways dwellers, it will help us.
A state like Bayelsa, crisscrossed with rivers and creeks, this campaign is a step in the right direction as it is a commitment to preserving lives and fostering a culture of responsibility on water. In Yenagua, Timinepri, Ohia, NTA News.
The federal government has inaugurated the new governing boards and executive management teams of 12 river basin development authorities, urging them to champion food security, accountability, and sustainable water resources across the country. Usman Zubiru reports that the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, said this at a two-day inauguration and retreat ceremony held in Abuja.
River Basin Development Authorities are responsible for managing the water resources within designated basin to promote agricultural development and other socio-economic activities. This strategic retreat for the 12 governing boards and executive management of River Basin is to acquaint the appointees with the responsibility of their new office in alignment with the government's renewed hope agenda. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation highlighted the critical role of River Basin Development Authority in national development, underscored the need for the appointees to familiarize themselves with the River Basin Act, the Water Resources Master Plan, and relevant policies to chart a transformative path for the sector. Identifying food security as a presidential priority that demands urgent expansion of irrigated farming across the country, producers encourage the authority to stimulate all season agricultural activities within their jurisdictions.
You are all expected to fragmentally uphold the standards and reputation of the water sector to enable you to achieve effective water resources management, sustainable development, and service delivery.
Mainstream, we will also be available to interact and provide all the necessary support and guidance.
We're going to implement all the policies he has on ground holistically.
It is expected that the appointees are all required to understand the River Basin Act to enable them draw the strategic direction and innovative ideas that will revolutionize the sector. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
Nigerians, especially Southeast businessmen and women, have been urged to fully subscribe to the federal government's 200 billion naira grants and loans in order to improve their economic fortunes. Managing Director, Bank of Industry, Olasupo Olushi, gave the advice during a one-day town hall meeting on the federal government's MSME's grants and loans held in Owerri, the Imo state capital. Here is Kingsley Ononiwu's report.
The presidential town hall meeting is aimed at sensitizing small and medium-scale entrepreneurs in Imo State on the importance of the implementation of 200 billion Presidential Intervention Fund, which is a landmark initiative of President Bola Tinubu's administration to empower micro, small, and medium enterprises as well as revitalize the nation's manufacturing sector. Speaking at the event, the Managing Director, Bank of Industry, Olasupo Olusi, represented by the Divisional Head, MSME South 2, Paquins Erabo, noted that MSMEs are the engine of Nigeria's economy. He therefore enjoined the Southeast business community to embrace the federal government's MSMEs loans and grants for the growth of their businesses.
We are calling on all Southeasterners that they should take advantage of this. There is still room for more businesses to be accommodated within this scheme. The MSME fund has a maximum obligor limit of 5 million. That means businesses that are registered can access up to 5 million.
State Manager, Bank of Industry, Nnamdi Onwughara, speaks on the conditions for accessing the MSME's loans and grants.
For you to be able to access the FGN MSME fund, you must first make sure you have a registered business with Corporate Affairs Commission, and you must also be able to give us a bank statement for 6 months. You must have NIMC, BVN. You must provide pro forma invoice of items you want us to fund.
Some of the beneficiaries commended President Bola Tinubu for making available the grants and loans which they described as a turning point of their business ventures.
I want two people to help me thank the federal government who made me to stand up in my business again. I'm most grateful to His Excellency, the President of our country, Abe Tinubu, for this gesture.
The 200 billion naira federal government loan scheme has interest rate of 9% per annum, repayable within 3 years, including a 3-month moratorium. Over 29,000 people from Imo State have so far benefited from the loan scheme.
Let's take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, PCNGI, and the National Union of road transport workers have successfully enforced a 40% reduction in transport fares for CNG-powered taxis operating from Area 1 Motor Park in Abuja. This move, the PCNGI says, is to cushion the impact of high transportation costs due to fuel subsidy removal and to make transportation more affordable for Nigerians. Lydia Sampson reports.
Under a formal agreement, NURTW members operating on key routes such as Abuja to Itakpe and Ajakuta, as well as Abuja Metropolis commercial drivers, had converted their vehicles to compressed natural gas, with government insisting that the resulting operational savings must translate directly into a 30 to 40% reduction in passenger fares. This is part of ensuring that the benefits reach commuters across Nigeria. Presidential Compressed Natural Gas CEO Michael Oluwagbemi announced that fares from Area 1 to various destinations have significantly reduced. Regional Coordinator, Presidential Compressed Natural Gas North, David Idako, delivered the program director's message.
Area 1 to Gwagwalada, when they were on fuel, it was going for 1,500 naira. We have been able to reduce it to 900. Area 1 to Buhari Duse is also 1,500. That also has been reduced to 900. Area 1 to Kuje, when they were running on petrol, is 1,200. That also has been reduced to 720 naira. Area 1 to Galadima was 500. It has been reduced to 300.
The fare to Gwagwalada dropped from 1,500 to 900, while the trip to Nyanya decreased from 700 to 420. Other routes such as Area 1 to Wusi and Area 1 to Kabusa also saw a significant reduction. Over 50% of vehicles at the park have been converted to run on compressed natural gas. To ensure compliance, a joint PCNGI and NURTW task force has been established, with vehicles displaying CNG stickers and nude fare tags to notify passengers. And passengers have been encouraged to report drivers who fail to adhere to the new pricing tag.
Vehicles that have been converted, we have a price tag written on the vehicles, so that you as a passenger, if you are going to Gwagwalada, Nyanya, you will notice that this vehicle is being converted and this is the price tag.
NURTW branch secretary Ibrahim Jibril confirmed the union's support, noting the drivers still benefit from lower fuel costs despite the fare cut.
Conversion has gone on very well. Of course, the gas is different to just petrol stations, so the infrastructure has lagged a little bit. But we have, currently now in Abuja, there are 10 stations. Be a bit more patient with us. We're getting there. We're working hard. As we're doing in Abuja, we're doing across the nation as well.
Although the initiative marks a significant step in making transportation more affordable while promoting cleaner energy in Abuja, challenges of CNG refilling stations is still a major concern. He's optimistic that the challenge is being tackled as more stations are in the pipeline. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
On to health matters. Nigeria's quest to vaccinate every child irrespective of their location, with the target of ending cases of zero doses and to achieve universal health coverage, has been strengthened with the launch of a $200 million health system strengthening grant, a support project from Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, in a message at an event in Abuja, reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to making quality health care and services equitable, accessible and affordable for all citizens. Olusheye Adegwu reports.
Immunization is key in safeguarding children's health, but achieving universal vaccination coverage has been a significant global challenge. In UNICEF data, more than 12.4 million children did not receive vaccines in 2020. These vulnerable children are labeled as zero-dose children. Nigeria faces an alarming situation among these countries, with over 2.2 million estimated as zero-dose children in 2021. To address this, the federal government, with supports from development partners, is launching the Next Health Systems Strengthening Grants, which is the third phase, HSS3, a $191 million program for the next 4 years.
And now we are more committed to improving the immunization coverage for all our children.
We're also going to be using tools to make this easier, traceable and measurable. So digitization of the immunization program is going to continue. The cold chain infrastructure will be strengthened.
While Gavi speaks on the grant's intents, responses from other key players who are implementers explain its prospects of increasing immunization coverage to 84% by 2028.
We are really focusing on the communities who are being missed. They're not just being missed by immunization, they're being missed by the health system. And by really drilling down on which are those communities, why are they being missed, what are the barriers we need to overcome.
But this is not just the accountability of the government or partners like UNICEF and Gavi. This is also the accountability of communities. It is the accountability of parents. They should know they have to take their children to be immunized.
Clear commitments and image of collective efforts is put in Nigeria on the threshold of transforming its immunization program and accelerating progress to protect every child with immunization. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And as the rains return, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention is urging Nigerians, especially those in rural areas, to maintain good hygiene to prevent health challenges. At a briefing in Abuja, the agency explained that this is because cholera and Lassa fever, both food and waterborne diseases, tend to surge during the wet season. Serafina Okon reports that the agency also gave updates on cerebrospinal meningitis and Mpox.
The clouds are gathering and so are the health warnings. As the heavens open and the rain sets in, the NCDC is raising the red flag. Cholera is lurking, and communities without access to safe water are most at risk. At a recent event, the Director General, Dr. Jide Idris, delivered a sobering update. Lassa fever cases are on the decline, though, from 41 to 10, but tragically, 3 lives have already been lost.
Cholera can be deadly when infected people do not have access to care immediately. Persons with diarrhea should not prepare or serve food or hot water for others. Cholera can be prevented through ensuring access to safe, portable drinking water, proper sanitation and waste disposal.
And if that wasn't alarming enough, there's more. As 723 cases of meningitis and Mpox have been reported across the country, with the south and central regions the hardest hit, carrying a 2.2 fatality rate.
Cumulatively, as of the April 17, the country has reported about 4,672 suspected cases, but with 707 confirmed and about 135 deaths, unfortunately, with an overall case fatality rate of 19%, which to us is still high, but it was much higher than this during the period. However, we still feel that the risk remains high, especially in the endemic areas.
But that's not all. Flood warnings have been issued in 30 states, including the FCT. The government says it's taking a grassroots approach this time, hoping preparedness and early response can help prevent disaster. This is a call to action for health workers and authorities to step up before it's too late. In Abuja, Serafina Okon Umekwe, NTA News.
Away from health, in a bid to tackle the growing challenge of Almajiri and out-of-school children in the Northeast sub-region, the Northeast Governors Forum has resolved to partner with the National Commission for Almajiri and out-of-school children to ensure that every child has access to equitable and inclusive education. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Mohammed Sani Idris, stated this shortly after his engagement with the governors during their 11th meeting held in Damaturu, Yobe State. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The Northeast is one of the sub-regions in the country with a high concentration of Almajiris and out-of-school children, prompting concerns about potential exploitation and abuse of these children. To address this challenge, governors from the sub-region in their 11th meeting were briefed by the Executive Secretary of the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children's Education on the need to forge a strong partnership towards enrolling these children in formal schools.
I've discussed also with the governors the need to support us with a place where we will replicate the Kaduna school, the Tinubu Legacy School that is now operational in Kaduna, where Almajiri are being exposed to Western education, Arabic language, and skills acquisition. We were also able to discuss the flight of the out-of-school children, where we saw together that this is a time bomb that is awaiting explosion. And the Northeast is already ravaged with this mayhem that is unleashed on us by Boko Haram. So it should be our resolve not to allow again any form of insecurity.
This subnational partnership is seen as a promising step for this category of children to reach their full potential. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
That concludes the news at 11 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye. Have a good night.